All right, guys, happy September 1st. It is Friday. I'm coming to you excited, coming to you full of energy, and I'm coming to you full of gratitude as always. I just want to say thank you guys for being here. If you have the ability to be here with your camera on, be present, show up here, because how you show up here is how you're going to show up for the rest of your business. So it's super important that you are engaged, you are present, and you are in the moment. It's an hour of your time. That's all I'm asking for. If you don't want to be here, don't want to contribute, don't want to get involved in the conversation, you need to have a really, really hard look within yourself, because this environment is about pushing you. It's about getting you outside of your comfort zone. So if you're that person that always just lays in the cuts, never raises their hand, never has their camera on, never gets involved in the conversation, I want to push you, implore you, encourage you to step up, stand up, and get involved in today's conversation, no matter what the dialogue is and no matter where we go with the conversation. So I'm going to turn it over to Jessica. And Jessica, I'm going to throw you completely into the fire this morning. She had no idea that I was going to do this, but Jessica, fortunately, just passed her exam, but she's been a part of our environment now for, I want to say, close to a year. I've known her. She is a single mom. She has pushed, and now she is going to be officially joining the team. So she is brand new, right? She is brand new. We have veterans on the call. We have up-and-comers on the call, but her particular situation, she is brand new. So Jessica, based on this emotional high that you're on right now, if you could share with the team an emotional sentiment or how you're feeling, or bring us out on the field on this beautiful Friday morning, what does that look like for you? How you feeling? Let's turn the mic over to you, Jessica. And let's give her a giant congratulations for passing, because we all know how that felt that day, that moment when we actually got that license. So let's hear from you, Jessica Hernandez.
Thank you, everyone. I'm feeling really excited, nervous, but super excited because I've been waiting for this day since forever. I've been joining these calls since, I want to say, January or February, actually. So I've been popping in and out, meeting agents, and kind of just, getting a feel of the industry. But I'm super excited. Today is Friday. So I don't know what else to say. I'm just really excited. Cool. I'm happy to be here. I'm happy to meet all of you guys and hopefully build connections with you all.
I love it. I love it. All I wanted to hear was that true, genuine excitement, because that's what it's all about. And forget all the shit they teach you in the book. And now we're going to teach you some real stuff. It's about proper communication. It's about, proper marketing. It's about prospecting, knowing what to say, how to say it, why to say it, when to say it. And so all those things will start to develop over the next couple of months. But I just want to make a public announcement to say congratulations to all of your hard work. She's a single mom. And so if you guys are moms out there balancing a business, balancing being an entrepreneur, balancing, mom life, if you guys want to reach out to her to make sure that she is part of your community, because she's probably going to need that support, because we know that it is a very tough road, even if you don't have children, but having children, it makes it even more challenging. So shout out to you, Jessica. I'm going to record a little bit of this on the camera today. Before we get started, I want to give you guys a quick tour. I'm currently in our Sacramento office. We have our second fast booth that is set up here. The lights are set up. The mic is set up. So I want to tell you this, and I want to encourage this for every single person that's on this call. I'm seeing a lot of content that's being created within the team, and I want to commend you for first off taking this first step of creating content and getting on the camera. What I believe we'll do in the next couple months or the next couple of weeks, we're probably going to do a social media workshop. Now, I'm not going to go down the whole entire path of social media, but what I want everyone to do is to really, really look at the quality of what they're producing on social media right now. And if it's not the top level, quality, right? It doesn't have to be perfect. But if you look at it, be like, like, how does my backdrop look? How does my aesthetics look? Is this really, really easy to digest? Is this easy to understand? How does it look like when I put it on my wall? Am I capturing myself in a moment where I look like this, or is it a thumbnail that says what that video actually is? So I want you guys to look at your content and be like, is there some true quality in this? Because for most people, a seller is going to see that. That's going to be their first impression of how you do your marketing. And if that part of it is not solid, then why would they choose to have you list their $1 million home in the Bay Area? When they go to someone else's, they get a sense of who they are, the quality that they possess, so on and so forth. So just wanted to have you guys do that. We're going to do a social scope, social media training in the next couple of weeks. we're going to dissect, we're going to dive in, we're going to give you tips, tools, tricks on how to build, how to grow, how to do things a little bit better. As we go into the fourth quarter, I want to make sure that is something that you guys have down to a science. You understand the flow, you understand the patterns, you want to, so on and so forth. So I want to share that with you before we get rolling this morning. I want to talk to you guys about community. First and foremost, you guys, I'm reading a book right now. I'm listening to a book. First off, for the people that listen to audibles and to audiobooks, I don't know how you do it. I am the guy that loves a book. I want to write notes. I want to be in the moment. It's my own thoughts. It's my own voice reading those words. But anyways, I'm trying to make the best use of my time when I'm on the road. So I'm listening to a book called The Culture Code. And it really talks about, getting people in large groups to move towards a common goal. Now, obviously, what people see from us is culture. They see culture from the outside. I think culture is very identifiable. You can have the Googles of the world, the Apples of the world. I think when people look at us, they can identify the strong culture that is built within Team Fast. But what people don't see, and what it happens in this group and within the office, within the different offices throughout the Bay Area and beyond, is that there's this true sense of community. And what happens is that when you're in this room, when you go to the office, you'll start to be a part of the community. And that's even bigger than the culture. Community happens with inside of the culture. So I want you to think about this. How am I truly being a part of the community? Am I building brotherhoods? Am I building sisterhoods? Do I have a friend in the office? Do I have a best friend in the office? Are we building towards something? Am I leveraging the people in my office? Am I asking for help? When I go to the office, do I just go to a corner and keep to myself and just do an awkward wave? Or am I actually getting involved? When someone on the call says, Dana, she talks about something in her market, Dana, I want to reach out to you. I want to talk to you. I want to build. You guys, the beauty of this company is not just this culture that people see from the outside. The beauty of this company is what happens inside of our community. And I want you guys to really focus on that. Think about that, because by a show of hands, how many people have made a dear friend since they joined this team? How many people have somebody on this team that is now one of their tight homies, somebody that they would go to bat for, somebody that would show up for them no matter what, somebody that would be in their corner? I promise you, I got people that are on this team right now that are welcome to come into my home. There's people on this call right now that have made friends with my fiance. I'm like, you guys are homies? Like, yeah, we talk all the time. We share this, we share, fashion tips. What I mean by this, you guys, and why I wanted to start this conversation out, is that leverage the power of this community. There is nothing else like it. But if you are an onlooker, if you stay on the outskirts, if you stay on the cuts, and if you don't dive into this, what's going to happen is that there's going to be opportunities out there that, based on the tangible items, they might be a better fit for you. Let's be real, because most of brokerages offer 90% of the same things. The 10% is the intangibles, and that's the difference with our team and our organization. So what I want you to do, what I encourage you guys to do, is get super involved. As we're prepping for this last month, to prep to go into quarter four, who do you need? What do you need? How do you want to be? How do you want to end this year? How are you going to give yourself momentum? We're going to be diving into this conversation. Next week on Wednesday, we're going to do a full deep dive into your Q4 goals. And the reason why we're doing that is because we have October, November, December. I want you guys clear. What are we doing? I don't want this conversation come up. I don't have my systems. I don't have my tech. I don't have my tools. I don't have this. I don't know what to do with my time. What the fuck? There's almost the end of the year. We should be clear on how we're going to end this year. And if it's not working for you, then we make a change. And if it's working for you, then you double down and say, you know what, these are the things that are truly serving my business right now. I'm going to go all in on these. Does that make sense, everybody? Give me a reaction on the screen below. Give me a head nod. Give me something so I can make sure that we're all on the same page today. Okay, appreciate you. Thank you, Ophelia. Ophelia, good to see your smile. I love it, okay? So that's where I wanted to take you guys, and that's what I want to share with you. In a moment, I'm going to turn the mic over to you guys, and I'm going to get off the mic, and I want to hear from you guys about action. What are you doing right now? What was the video that took off this week? What was the call that you were able to convert? What was the listing appointment that you were able to go and win? What did you put together? What did you find out? What did you research? Whatever it is, I want to hear about your wins. And here's what I want to talk to you guys about. And I'm going to give you some insight, and I'm going to share with you some things that I've done, because if we're going to talk some action, I'm going to back it up, and I'm going to start this conversation out properly. I've told you guys to start looking into lead magnets. What can you guys do as an agent to start producing leads that have nothing to do with any online lead service, right? Because any single lead service that you get right now, you're either paying between 35 to 50% for that online lead. So that means that you're doing the same amount of work and you're getting paid 35 to 50% less than you would if you organically gain that lead. So the knowledge that you have, the flow that you have, the process that you have, the investors that you work with, the understanding of this market at a very high level, all those things could be turned into a lead magnet. So I want to ask you guys and start thinking about this. What have you done in the last couple of weeks as we've talked about lead magnets that you can create to start bringing people into your world? And Joellen, I'm so glad that you threw your hand up, and I'm gonna come to you in just a moment. But this is something that I really want you to dive into. And now I'm gonna share my screen in a minute here. Let me just get on and let me just make sure. All right, cool. We're all queued up. We're ready to go. And so I wanna share a few things with you guys, because what you'll find is that the options are absolutely endless to where you can go. And I'm going to give you a quick example of how I've been spending my time. Because if I'm going to ask this of you guys, I'm going to do this for myself. I want you guys to take a look. Every single thing that I show you is an ad that has popped up for me on social media. Every time a story ends, right between that story and the next story, an ad's popping up. So what am I doing? I'm going down that path. I'm going down that rabbit hole. I'm looking, I'm experiencing, I am analyzing. And the reason why is because if I'm going to ask you guys to start clicking, start looking, start realizing, start experimenting, then I want to do that myself. And what I did is I took the path of coaching, right? Obviously, I'm launching something with Raquel, so I want to make sure that I'm studying and that I'm not just thinking, oh, I'm going to go into this and we're going to be the number one. No, I want to study and learn all the clicks. When I go on to Ryan Serhant, when I go on to Bill Pipes, when I go on to Dan Beer, when I go on to this guy who I don't even know who this guy is, when I go on to Christian Masor, what are she doing? When I go into like this, literally was my my pictures the other day. These are all the things, and then what I'm doing is I'm writing down how many followers, what did they offer? It was a free listing presentation. It was this, it was a Canva template. It was a buyer's consultation. It was 5 key strategies that you need to know as a buyer right now. Click for this free guide. I'm gonna give you an investor guide. If you're thinking about purchasing a home in the Bay Area, here is an investor guide and a calculator that I've created for you to make that process a little bit easier. If you're a seller thinking about putting your house on the market right now, here's a seller guide with the 5 top design aesthetics for 2023. You're welcome. Ooh, I like that. Let me click that. As soon as they click that, guess what? Now you have a lead. And now what can you do with that lead? You can market to that lead. You can prospect to that lead, and you can get them into your ecosystem. Because what it does is it is a narrow fix to a large offering. It is a narrow fix to a large offering. The core offering is you want to list their home, you want to help them relocate, or you want to help them buy a home. But what you do is you bring them in by this one active lead magnet. The active lead magnet offers them something for free. And each of you on the screen, this is not trivial. This is simple. You guys, I spent hours and hours and hours just scrolling. Am I getting a bunch of fucking emails gonna have to unsubscribe? Absolutely. But there's a lady out there, an agent who is just like you, that set up a store through stand.store. And what she did is she created her listing presentation, her funnel, her guide, her seller's guide, her buyer's guide, all this. And what does she do? She slangs it to you as a real estate professional. And people are buying it. And so when you think about this, how can I offer something? And that's secondary. You don't have to offer it, but I'm just giving you examples here. How can I start to bring people in? By simply throwing out something that's going to allow them to give me their information because I've given them something of value. You guys, I cannot tell you how important this is. Literally, I'm on stand.store, captcha.com, clickfunnel.com, magic.agency, WordPress, In the Moment, which is live surveys. I've set up mini chat to where if I tell Carlos, DM me the word coach, now he's going to get something on the back end, and I'm going to be able to organize that based on his response of simply saying coach, right? So all these things that you guys can be doing, and it is simple. It is simple. But first and foremost, you got to do a little bit of research. You got to spend a little time. If you say you want to be this top producer in this business and you want to provide for your family and you want to do all these things, then you need to put in 5 times, 10 times, 20 times of the effort and the work on the back end and study the people that are already doing the things that you want to do. Is it a little challenging? Absolutely. But I promise you, if you do it right, it'll make things easier because you're not now you're not reaching. And oh, you should contact me for all of your real estate needs. That's bullshit. You don't know what their real estate needs are. They don't know what their real estate needs are, but you're telling them, if you ever need anything, call me. I don't know what I need. You have a specific understanding of what they need, and so you're going to talk directly to that. So I want to share that thought with you guys and let you know that I'm on the back end here doing tons and tons of research. And if I was you guys, I would look at my entire process right now. Your buyer's consultation, your listing presentation, the way you work with investors, your elder care guide. What to do if you're helping an elderly person transition to the next part of their life. I'm going to give you a 10-piece guide that I want to share with you, and feel free to pass that on to other family members that you know. That is powerful, because now what is Joellen doing? Joellen is getting leads that have a specific need. So when Joellen calls them, it's like, hi, I just want to call you and see if you have any real estate needs. No. I understand that you downloaded my guide, and I don't know if it's you or a family member that's going through the transition in life, but I wanted to follow up with you and see what questions can I answer about elder care or selling the house or moving on or assets or asset management. She has now somebody that has opted in for the one thing that she is a specialist on. Mind blowing, you guys. Like, I've been diving into this, and that's why I'm so excited this morning. I want to share this with you, and my hope is that you get off this call and you were like me, and you were the notes, how many followers, how many clicks, how many pages, how many things, what was their offering? How many times did they tell me to click on that offering in one page? How many followers did they have? How many typos did they have on their shit? I am literally going down the hole because I want you guys to have that same level of research, recon, recognizance, and put something into place that's going to allow you to capture more leads than you've ever captured. To capture more leads than you've ever captured, because in 2024, what I'm going to do and what we're going to do is we're going to help you develop more leads than you've ever had. And if you have closed any amount of leads with us, company generated leads, and you're paying those referral fees, I want you to say bye. I want you to say bye to those referral leads, and I want you to say, you know what, I'm doing things in a different way, and I'm organically driving my business forward. You guys need to be experts at developing leads, because the leads solve every single person's problem. Every single person on this call. Let's just do a quick survey. How many of you on this call could use more leads? Please raise your hand. In some level of your business. How many of you would like more seller leads? Please raise your hand. How many of you would like more buyer leads? That's, $1 million plus, totally, right? That's the challenge for all of us. And so let's do something about it, and let's mitigate that. So I'm going to open the mic up. I'll come to you in just a second, Marina, but I'm going to go to Joellen. You want to get involved in this conversation earlier. So Joellen, let's go to you. And then I want to start having a conversation with you guys. And first off, are you staying at the Lake Tahoe Vacation Resort?
Yeah, Marriott.
Oh, cool. That was my very first job when I moved from San Diego. So check this out. And then I saw your story last night. So you guys, I'm 23 years old, and I'm living in San Diego, and I'm living in the streets. And I'm going to tell you this story because it's a reminder every time I see people in Tahoe. So I'm living on the streets. And when I was 18 and a half, I got a really good job, and I was doing good. I got my first apartment when I was 19. My rent at that time was $929. I'll never forget this. I had this 2-bedroom apartment in La Mesa. They paid for my car. They bought me 3 new suits. I had to read 5 books within 30 days. And so I'd done really good for myself. When I looked at my friends, I had done so much better than them. But then what I allowed myself to do is I allowed myself to say, ooh, I'm going to dabble, right? And at that time, there wasn't a thing to do, because it was a thing to do because meth had just entered the scene, and it hadn't become an epidemic like it is now, and had become for over the years. So I started dabbling. Well, the dabbling on the weekends carried over into the week. And then, sooner or later, I lost the job and lost everything that I had created for myself. So the year is 2023, and I find myself completely on the streets, sleeping at friends' house, family members, wherever I could. And if I didn't have a place to stay, I would sleep in the park, which was one of the most like embarrassing things I've ever had to go through in my life. And that's part of my why now. My why is stability. And I've told you guys that story. But I remember it's 2023. And it's right before the new year. So it's probably right around this time. And I called my aunt in Tahoe and I said, Auntie, I need to come up there and sleep. She said, Mijo, come up, rest, get your mind right. I literally left San Diego. I had a backpack, $70 in a dream. My buddy Jojo, who just got out of the prison, out of the pen for 7 years, drove me up in a 2-seater Saturn with 2 doors. And my other buddy was in the back in like this half a seat. Drove to Tahoe in one of the worst storms that we had ever experienced in like 20 years. I had shorts. I didn't have gear to live in the snow, but I got there and, it took some time. I rested, tried to get my mind right. And the very first job is where Joellen is sitting right now. I went and filled out an application for a marketing executive at that resort right there. And they had me work at all the casinos and work in front of that resort to invite people in to do tours of the resort because it's a timeshare resort. And so here I am, a kid from the streets. And I get emotional saying this story. Here I am, a kid from the streets. And now I'm staying at this 4-star resort in this gondola going up the hill and the mountains riddled with snow. And you see all these people from all over the world. And here I am with a new lease at life. And I'll never forget that moment because I remember having so much fun. And within 1 year, I got picked up as the director of marketing for the 2nd largest timeshare resort in Tahoe. And I've never looked back. And literally that was the start of my career 20 years ago. And so I'm reminded of that. And that's the only reason I'm going down this path and sharing that story with you. And you guys, I'm 43 years old now. And I feel like I'm still growing. I'm still learning. I'm still hitting my stride. I feel like I'm more successful than I've ever been. And I'm still evolving, you guys. And so I just want to share that story with you. Hopefully it resonates because it means the world to me. So Joellen, let's turn the mic over to you. I'm curious to know your contributions in the conversation. So let's go. Hopefully Kane Brown was an amazing, amazing concert last night. So let's hear from you.
Yeah, thank you for sharing that story. So I'm where you're at right now, like going down this whole creating courses on the things that we have stored inside of us that we know, right? That others actually don't have and need access to. So I'm working on my next door book. I have my first EXP within the senior network of 3,000 agents to do my first presentation on the 7th. I've attracted a lot of realtors so far on Instagram asking me all these questions. So my thing is I also want to get referrals from agents around the world that want to buy and sell in my, in our area. So I'm working on that. And then I have my first in-person coffee meeting with agents in my area for training them on Nextdoor. So I'm using this lead, lead generator. Well, I don't even know. It's just something that I have.
It is. It's a lead magnet for sure. 100 epitome of it.
A lead magnet. I don't want to sound like, I need to, I don't know, but yeah, I'm going there with you. So I have this, I'm building it. I'm doing tons of research on Nextdoor every day. I look at their ads. I look at the wording that they're using. I look at the data. I'm looking at comments of what people are writing on their posts. So I'm just using all of that as well to really deep dive into my presentation and my book that I'm creating based on the data that I built over the year.
Wonderful. And all the things that you're doing right now to get in front of consumers and to get in front of agents, you're not charging anything for this, right? Is that safe to say? Not yet.
No, I'm not charging anything right now.
But down the road, if Joellen does this right, and let's just say on the agent side, she could essentially charge for something. She could, right? But the idea is like you guys have the ability. Go back to the book, Jab, Jab, Hook. Does everyone remember that book? Who wrote that book? Gary Vaynerchuk wrote that book. I think it's his 2nd book, but it was just like offer, offer, offer. And then, right, it's like provide something, provide something, provide something. We're always trying to reach and ask people. And what it does is it creates this reactance. People we want to pull people closer, but what we do is we end up pushing them away. When you're constantly talking about real estate and this and that, it like pushes people away. But like, hey, Ro, I created this thing that you might find it helpful if this is you and this is your market or this is what you're trying to achieve. Hopefully you found this helpful. If you have any questions, let me know, right? So it's just like we're always trying to push what we have onto others versus allowing people to come to us. Because if we allow them to come to us, we have trust built. When we have trust built, then when we ask for the thing, the appointment, download this, buy this, whatever it is, we'll get a higher opt-in. So Joellen, I absolutely love this. So let me ask you, how are you doing your research? What are you doing the research on? Like, how many hours are you putting in behind the scenes to make sure that this is working? And how much business have you produced thus far from your efforts on Nextdoor?
Oh my gosh. So Nextdoor, a total of 3 closings. I have 3 active sellers right now that I'm working with. So it's like 2.4 million. I have a new one coming up in Cameron Park that I got off Nextdoor. That's 1.6 million that I'm working on. So it's coming up there. Like but my ROI was, I paid nothing on those leads. You know what I mean? All I did was just meet people, on Nextdoor. And just the whole, everything that I did from my events to just you guys got to wait for the book because it's going to be in the book and it's going to show you how to do it. You're going to have the roadmap.
So listen, you guys, if you did $2.4 million, say in volume times a 2.5%, that's $60,000 gross commission income. And she's 100% organic. She doesn't have to pay a referral fee. But not only is she saying, oh, it worked once and it worked twice, she's now working even harder to grow that platform and to 10x that platform. So I love this, you guys. I'm going to come back to go ahead.
And I want to say this right now, I'm going for 100 listings over the next 12 months. Last year, I did 10 events in 1 year. I committed to 12, but I did 10 that were all tied to a charity. Right now, I'm going to go for 100 listings in the next 12 months that I'm working on. August was nothing but a vacation, but tomorrow starts my 12 months for 100 listings.
Wow. I love it. And she's doing the things that will support that. We all say that we want to do these things, but when we actually look at it, I want you to ask yourself, are you fronting? Or are you actually putting in the work, the time, the effort behind the scenes? I shared this yesterday on a live call. Amanda gets up yesterday morning and I'm up and I got the coffee. I ran out of K-cups, so I got to make a pot of coffee. And she's like, what are you doing? I was like, I'm studying. No, this is Wednesday morning. I said, I'm studying. She's like, why do you have the TV on, your computer on, and you're listening to an Audible? And I'm writing. I'm like, because I'll get something. She's like, you're just crazy. She's like, I'm going to go rest for a couple of minutes. But literally, that's where I'm at, you guys. Like, I'm already thinking about 2024 for you guys. We're already putting things in place to elevate. We just launched our marketing center. We're thinking about new lead sources. We've got a huge announcement that is happening soon within our environment. So it's like, I'm going to set the tone for what I expect for you guys. And hopefully that you guys aren't fronting. The front is, ooh, I want to do this and I love this and I'm going to provide for my family. And you're not doing shit behind the scenes. That's fronting. If you guys are true to the word, true to your purpose, true to your cause, your crusade, the internal matches the external. I feel this about myself. I'm saying this to it, and look at all the things that I'm putting into place. So Joellen, love it. This 100 listings for the year, I'm with this. I support this, and I will be here in your corner to do anything that I can. So I'll come to Otis in just a second. We'll continue this conversation about action, but Marina, rapid fire, what was your contribution, thought, or insight on the conversation? You had your hand up for a moment. I want to make sure I didn't miss you.
Wow. I didn't have anything profound to say. You asked what I was doing differently. And you know what? Because of the recommit, I started sending video emails, video texts. And we all know I suck on camera. You know that. I know that. You told me that. But I got responses twice as fast as I would with just normal text messages. There are a couple of people I communicate only through text because they requested so, because it's started so now I'm like, hey, how you doing? Just wanted to send you a video instead of texting you. I'm sending you this article, or I'm sending you this data. I'm sending you a couple of houses that I've seen that would be for you, it would be beneficial for you to visit. And it's interesting that there's this one guy who I've been talking to for almost a year, and he always responds like 2 to 3 days later, immediate response. And it was interesting. So that was my kind of like woohoo moment, as far as I am afraid of, video and the camera and stuff. And but it's also good practice too. Thanks, Elias.
Quick disclaimer there. The words that you suck never came out of my mouth. I just said that there's some opportunities for us to grow and improve and get better, but we interpret the things the way we want to interpret it. But I do see it. I do appreciate you stepping up and doing things that are super uncomfortable. Let's go to Otis White. Otis White, thoughts, contributions. Let's talk about action, big dog.
Talking about new lead sources, I mentioned a few weeks back that me and my team were getting with Hearst Media. Anybody doesn't know what Hearst Media is, they own SF Gate, and they own the Chronicle. They own a couple of news sources all out through the country. Been putting together a real estate show. That's why I really haven't been putting out the content, because all the content will be going straight to there. This is a new lead source. They're able to pinpoint and give you zip codes and everything from who's hot and who's not. So I'm looking to maybe meet with you and Kenny to try to pitch it to you guys. But the format is just something like Joel, and we're going to give something that's a blueprint, basically. And if we can cut Realtor.com, Ojo, and all of them out by a couple of percentages to give it lower, because as a realtor, I know it sucks giving up 35 to 30%, especially if the client is something that you have to pretty much ground out your whole self. So I've been working on that for the last couple of weeks. So I definitely would like to get with you and Kenny. Any agent on the team could possibly benefit from it if they use it. So we're just kinking it out. We're going to go meet with Hearst Media again. So just wanted to put that out there on the table.
I love it. So Otis White, let me ask you a question, man, as we're thinking about this and lead sources and funnels and things like that and lead magnets. How many deals have you closed in this last year? And how many people do you have in escrow right now?
I'd say 15. 15 on
15. And then what's in your escrow right now?
I have about 4. I just lost one last night, but I didn't lose him completely, just the contract on that spot. In San Francisco, as you know, we had a good time negotiating, but part of the negotiation is the drug, the homelessness, and just people being scared about it. My guy isn't too scared about it himself, but his girlfriend's going to be at the apartment majority of the time. So we pulled the trigger and then we took it back last night, but it's just going to get us in a higher price point, because the actual neighborhood that they want to stay at is roughly between 900 and in the mill. I did the groundwork. A lot of agents don't want to take a couple of L's to show your client like that, but I had to let them know, like, we're not going to score nothing 200,000, maybe 100, maybe 80, but he's seen it now. So now I think he's ready to up it up a little bit. So I'm going to have that one coming through. And then I'm meeting someone today at the Fairfield office who's a friend of mine who's looking to get in real estate and has a deal for me.
So listen to this, you guys. Let's say 19, 20 deals. That is 19, 20 times that Otis has won for a client. Not every single one of those was oh yeah, like you write an offer, it's a lay down and we got our offer accepted. There's negotiations, there's review of comps, there's review of disclosures, there's a review of reports, there's making sure to have a clear understanding about what's happening, what's pending, what's sold, what's the average days on the market, all this research, right? The research that goes into every single offer, that's like a science project. So what he's done is he's done that for now 20 consumers. If I was a consumer and somebody said, I'm going to share with you my blueprint and how I've helped over 20 families over the last year get into homes, how I negotiate, how I fight, how I do my research, and how I provide the highest level of data, tap here to download my guide. If I was a first-time home buyer, I promise you that is something, if it was said in that way, that I would click on, because he has now a proven process. All of you guys have stuff that's built within our organization that you don't have to build on your own. Your buyer guide, your listing presentation, all the stories that you hear. It's incredible when you start to think about it, like, damn, I can just create something and create that as a free lead funnel. So I'm not trying to, hey, DM me if you ever need anything. It's completely different. Let's go, Ashley. And then I want to get other people involved in this conversation. Throw your hands up. So thank you, Otis. Appreciate you. Ashley.
Hey, so I just wanted to share some success that I had. I made 2 really good reels this week. One was the one I talked about on the last call about my client losing $100,000 of equity while saving 20%. That one got like 3,600 views so far just in a couple days. And then I did a voiceover that again got 3,600 views. But I really I had a question. Out of that, 8 people followed me just yesterday. So it's good bait to throw out there. And so it's working. But I really like the idea of a funnel, and I've seen it everywhere. And I've seen the idea of giving something free, but what's missing is I don't know how to create the funnel. So where do you go? What website do you go to throw that up on your website? I have the website. I just don't know how to make that little input.
All right, so here's a couple, and just through my recent research, and if you guys have answers to this, and this is something that you guys can do and specialize in, then please throw your hands up. So start with clickfunnel.com. You can go to CAPTCHA, it's CAPTCHA. You can go to magic.agency. You can do WordPress. Those are the ones that I've been researching lately. ClickFunnels seems to be the most popular. They all look similar. Like they look similar. So it's like you have an opportunity to really, really stand out because of video, of aesthetics, how it looks, the colors. Like I would just start diving into it, do the demos, watch the videos, research it, ClickFunnels. Like I have a meeting on September 12th in Arizona. I'm going out for the day. It's probably one of the biggest meetings in my entire career, and I'm meeting with my business partner, Raquel, and we're mapping out this new coaching platform that we're going to be offering to the world. And so it's like, I am not going into that meeting without a full vision board created. I VTO'd this. I have my research, my data. You click here, you click here, you click here. So actually just start diving in. And if you and I want to get together and just deep dive on this, I'm down. I'm down to collaborate, share, and like figure all these things out. But for now, start researching everyone's funnel. Everyone's funnel.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Love it. Appreciate you. Dana, let's hear from you. You had your hand up. And you guys, if you have something to contribute that you've taken action on in this last week and you've seen results and you want to share, get your hand up, share, contribute in this conversation, because that's how we grow together. Dana, let's go to you.
Sure. So what I started doing is I actually sat down and started creating systems for myself, because this is what is missing from me. I actually had Alex, this guy, call me because I was signed up for one of his classes and it got canceled. And I was actually really, really shocked that he personally reached out. And I told him that I'm a really high C, no matter how many assessments I take and how many times I answer, I'm answering honestly, I'm a high C. So systems are my thing. He said, instead of working against it and trying to change it, embrace it. And so that's what I've been doing. I've been showing up. I quit my other job because my focus is I have to go all in. And I can't afford not to. And I want to do a shout out to Jennifer Angel, because for Jessica, who's new, who's a mom, connect with someone in the office who understands where you're at and what you're going through. And Jennifer Angel has been amazing. She has been the person that I turn to and the person that I text if I need anything. So thank you.
So I love this, and stay here with me for a second. So first and foremost, we start out the conversation about the power of the community. The power of the community is really going to help you build and help you build your empire, and you helping them. But when you talk about systems, if you can talk to us about one system that you're putting in place, what is the execution date? What is it? And how do you feel it's going to impact your business? Tell us one.
So I created a spreadsheet for my videos, and you know how much I hate being on video. I hate it, but I didn't realize how much research goes into making a video, and it's a lot more. And if it's not tangible for me, I have to have a spreadsheet to see, okay, this is what I need to tick off. I need to do these things, and then now I need to shoot them, because when I shoot them, I have to be really confident because I have all the research that's already done ahead of time. So it's not weird. It's not. So today in the office, I'm going to be doing that.
You know what? I think I'm going to give all the credit to Ashley. I think she coined this real research. And so a part of being a content creator is constantly looking at everyone else's stuff, right? And so what I do is I save, tons of audio, and hopefully you guys can see that. But the point is I save tons and tons of trending audio. And then what I do is I save tons and tons of videos for inspiration, right? And I look at those videos like, okay, cool. How can I do that video in my way even better? And so I'm constantly looking. So it's not just mindless scrolling. I'm like, all right, I like that. I like the way those words are. I like that font. I like that hook. I like that style. I like what they did. All these things. So when you're creating, you have this database that you can tap into for research. That way you're like, okay, cool. I'm going to do it this way. So you guys spend time not just looking and scrolling mindlessly, taking notes, like truly, truly taking notes. And then in the notes section of your phone, I'm constantly finding ways to say, you know what are my content ideas? And I'm always putting content ideas in there. And then obviously if the seasons change, if it's not applicable, I'm obviously always up refreshing that. But I love that, Dana. Like, real research is important. If you're going to be a content creator and you're going to take this game serious, there's a lot of research that goes into it. So I love it, Dana. So good thoughts, good contribution. I appreciate your insight. Let's go to Dominique Curtis. Dominique Curtis, you had your hand up. Always have great contributions. So let's hear from you. I love the look. Love the look.
Thank you. Trying to wear my hats these days because I feel so tired. So trying to not look tired. I've been leveraging my preferred lender. And so, like I said, I've just made the video with Christina last week, just posted it this week. And I've got a handful of people that contacted me, but they contacted me about credit. It's crazy because I've never had anybody contact me about credit before, asking me about credit scores or like programs that they're currently in for their debt. And so being able to open that up to people to ask me those questions specifically is major for my business, because normally they would just contact me and say, hey, I like your video. What do you think about purchasing at this time? But now I'm opening up more people to contact me about how they can better their credit to eventually buy. And so that's planting seeds. And so I think that's so right now in my business, I have a lot of seeds that I'm watering. And so they're not necessarily sprouted yet, but I see my future in them being very well watered and sprouting. And so as we all know, I do a lot of videos about information stuff. So just recently, I've printed out a lot of things about landlords and inflation. And those are something that I never paid attention to much myself in my business, but now I'm paying more attention to inflation, which you'll see a video coming out on. And these are things that buyers don't really necessarily know have a direct correlation for them, but it does. Right. And so a lot of people don't hear about inflation. And when I ask people if they know about inflation, they don't really know about it. So how does that affect them? How does that affect their housing? How does that affect their day-to-day putting food on the table? And so leveraging my lender and putting out information that people will connect with has worked out well for me, because all of my business has came from community and some sort of generated lead from a website. But now a lot of my business that I'm actually watering is from organic videos that I've made. So I'm going to stick to my videos and getting and planting seeds from that, because for me, I see that works. And then I'm just going to escalate it to another level.
So I'll give you a quick example. I want to encourage you to take these videos that you're creating, because one video that I remember was like the abuse video that you created that resonated with a lot of people. I've heard people talk about it in certain circles. I think, like, since you're creating such powerful stuff, and this goes for everybody. Once again, you guys, I talked about this AI, allright.ai. It takes videos that you have put into place and put them on social media, or if you've put them into Instagram. And then what it does is it creates these dope articles. So Dominique, the fact that you've said these great things, you take that, all you do is you put it into All Right, the video, and now it makes it into a really, really good article for you. Now you can use that article. That article could go onto LinkedIn. It could go into your weekly newsletter, and it's something that you could send to the active clients that you're working with. Like, hey, Tom, I just want to follow up with you. I just wrote this article that you may found helpful, or pass that on to somebody that you know. It's really powerful information. Hopefully you like it, right? Because now what you're doing is you're giving this dope content that you're creating even more shelf life. And that goes for everybody on this call. And so I want to encourage you. So learn how to strike the perfect content balance and followers into content. Into clients. These are things that we've talked about on this call that now I've just taken and put it into an article. And I'm actually putting the first article into my newsletter on Monday. So Dominique, I encourage you, and I encourage everyone to do that on this call. It's called AI.
That is so dope. Thank you.
And I'll just go here really quick, you guys. If we go to their dashboard here and we go to all right, and I've done this before, I'm going to go to the app. I'm going to create. All I'm going to do is I'm going to take an import video from my phone, from my computer, or from YouTube. I literally put the URL there, and then I generate, and it generates my article. Now, I could obviously make edits if I want to, but the point is like give that even more shelf life. And so good stuff. Before we go on, I want to share one more thing with you. I was able to create something through AI that I thought was really, really powerful, and I want to share it with you guys because it is such a deep meaning. But before we go on, does anybody else want to share something, action they took, a strategy that they launched, a step that they took in their business that has had massive, massive results in this past week? Does anybody want to share? Does anybody have a win that they want to share? And remember, these are things that people are going to look to you and be like, damn, I can do that. Or I appreciate that sentiment. Anybody? Going once? Going twice? All right, cool. So starting next week, we have a randomizer. And the randomizer is when we throw out questions, it's just going to spin a wheel. And then it's going to be like, ooh, Kyle, Michael Champ, Nias, Christian. So it's going to automatically call on you guys. So if you don't want to be called on, so what? So be it. It's going to call on you no matter what. But I want to share something with you because this means the world to me. So my fiance works at the Association of Realtors in Lodi. And she's sitting there and she's writing. And I'm like, what are you doing? She's like, well, I'm trying to put together this letter because we're doing a event to raise money for human trafficking and awareness and this cause, which is called On Watch. And so she gave me the information, and I told ChatGPT, write a letter soliciting a sponsorship in a heartfelt manner for a sensitive cause. The sponsorship is for On Watch, a nonprofit organization who works to prevent human trafficking. This event is to raise donations and awareness for the cause. The event will be held at 125 South Hutchins, Lodi, November 8th. Doors open at 9. Event is held from so on and so forth. I just want to share the first 2 paragraphs with you. I hope this letter finds you in good health and spirits. I'm reaching out with a deeply personal request that involves an issue close to many hearts, yet often hidden from our everyday lives, human trafficking. At On Watch, our mission is to illuminate the darkness and provide hope where it's desperately needed. Human trafficking isn't a term we hear on the news. It's a painful reality for countless souls torn from their families and thrust into a life of exploitation and fear. One of the most powerful intros to a paragraph, and I feel that it is going to be the best way for them to launch this in the organization, in the Association of Realtors, to get the sponsorships. Now, my lady is a really good writer, but I showed her this and I gave her the letter and I sent it to her so she can edit. And she's like, oh my God, my boss and the people at the board are so excited because it hits home. So when you guys are thinking about this, like AI is not hard to use. You just have to tell it how to work for you. You have to speak to it directly and give it clear, concise directions. And then what it starts to do is it starts to mold based on what you've told it to do. So don't be afraid of these things, right? I'm no AI expert, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to explore, I'm going to research, I'm going to try, because I don't know about you guys. Does that first 2 paragraphs sound pretty heartfelt and pretty heartwarming? I believe it does. I believe it does. Right. And now she's leveraged, meaning she has her time back. She's not going crazy trying to write this thing. And now it actually hits home and has the purpose and the cause. So I wanted to share that with you. So let's do this. I want to go around the room. I want to hear from a couple people on the call today. Brandy, Alfonso, good to see you. We haven't met yet, but I'm glad that you're here. Brandy, let's go. Key takeaways from our time together today. Any thoughts, contribution, insight? Let's go to you really quick.
I'm just kind of blown away. This is my first time on this. I'm just taking notes. I'm ecstatic. I'm just getting started. So I literally just opened my book.
Perfect.
Yeah. So I'm just like, yes, okay. Inspire me, encourage me, motivate me. Let's go. Let's do this. I'm a single mom. So yeah. So I'm just like, and you said something that is my my new like mantra is never look back. So just my story. So when you said that, I was like, okay, this is where I'm supposed to be today. So
I love it,
let's go.
Brandy. Well, I appreciate it. I appreciate it. I'm going to go to Chris B. Chris B is a 15 plus year veteran. You may think that he doesn't have to be here, but he chooses to be here, and he's here. There's probably a session that I cannot remember him not being on. He's a resource. He's a light. He's a pinnacle. And so I want to ask you, Chris B, what were some of your key takeaways from our time together today?
My key takeaways is polishing up your delivery and your message to the market on to get the lead, to be a lead magnet. So I like that, and also to just kill this next quarter. We're at the 1st of September, and it's go time right now, because what you do now is going to determine how you're going to do the first quarter next year. So
That's right.
You want to stack the pipeline. Let's go, everybody.
That's right. I love this. You guys, when we're not doing group coaching on Monday because Monday's a holiday. So next Wednesday, you guys, I want you to come correct. From now until next Wednesday, I want you to write out what you are going to do, create, and produce in the last quarter of the year. What is your plan? How many conversations? What are you going to launch? What are the timeframes? What is the tension? What is the pressure? All the things that we talk about. You guys have some homework. So all I want you to do is grab a notepad, and I just want you to start writing out my Q4 goal, because I don't give a shit what's happened up to this point. Whether you've crushed a year, whether you've had a dog shit year, or you've been somewhere in the middle, you have an opportunity in one quarter to absolutely change your year. It's going to be rooted in action. It's going to be rooted in you stepping outside of your comfort zone. And it's going to be rooted in having absolute clarity. When you guys speak to me, do you think I have a sense of clarity? I'm clear. I am so clear. That's all I want for you guys is clarity. Let's map this out. We're going to go through everybody's plan next Wednesday, and it doesn't have to be extensive, but I want you to go back to your VTO and say, okay, I have 3 months to end my year strong. What does that actually look like? Let's go Jessica Hernandez. I'll go to Jeff G, and then I'll go to Ro, and we'll close out today's session. Jessica Hernandez, key takeaways from our time together today.
Yeah. So one key takeaway from this session is creating and giving people something of value. That's something that I haven't really thought about, but will be thinking about for my business, just to generate organic leads. It's something that I'm going to keep in the top of my head, just so I have an idea and a clear vision of what I want to do. So that's one key takeaway from today.
Love it. Love it. Appreciate your contribution, Jeff G. Let's go to you, and then Ro, we're going to come right over to you. So Jeff G, key takeaways from our time together today.
All right. Great call. I would say a couple things. Leveraging the power of the community. I mean, again, these calls are just awesome. I mean, just so many different ideas from different backgrounds and everything. So, and then what you had said about a narrow fix to a large offering. Just, keeping that in mind when you're, of course, from a content perspective, but the messaging that you have. So great call.
Yeah, I love it, Jeff. I appreciate your contribution, and we really appreciate you and the team being a part of our environment. And if you guys have any questions, if you need loan help, if you're interviewing, different loan officers, so on and so forth, make sure to reach out to Ashley, to Jeff, to Christina, and make sure that they are a resource for you because they're here to serve and here to help. Let's go to Ro. Ro, wrap up our session. Key takeaways from our time together today.
Yeah, I definitely want to say the community is just awesome. So I've reached out to many people, and people have been responsive. I'm probably the old dog in the room. So, the social media, all of that stuff.
No, you're not. Nias is here, so you're good. You're good.
So I appreciate that. But I think the other thing is to realize I have knowledge that's very useful, and that I could, take that and make some social media posts that could be useful. I took care of my grandmother from afar who was in Houston and managed her, got a trust and power of attorney so I could sell her property and get her into assisted living. And so people always ask me, what are the things I need to have in place to do that? And I feel like that could be something that could be useful to people. So I'm just sitting here thinking there's, because I'm always like, oh, I'm new and I don't know what I could say, but I think that could be really powerful. And so it's really helpful to step back and think, how can my life experience be useful? And I could share that with someone as part of my, social media journey. So
Love that. I love that. You guys, listen, if you're creating any type of content, if it feels boring, it probably is boring. right? I'm just going to be real with you guys. If it feels like, oh my God, I got to do this and I got to say this, and it's about, 20%, you don't need 20%. If it's about a 2, whatever it is, if it feels boring creating it, it's probably boring to other people. But if you're reading, you got an article, you got some thoughts, there's a restaurant you went to, like you literally will be in the moment. I don't create shit that I don't feel. I just don't. That's me as a creator. I don't do stuff that I don't feel like, ooh, I got this. There's some energy around this, or there's a point, or there's a cause, or it's funny, or it's rooted in love, or it's rooted in controversy, right? If it feels boring to you, it is probably boring to the rest of us. So be conscious of that. Do stuff like Rose. She actually knows about these things and she's helped other people. Well, shit, just make content around that. All right, so have some fun with it, you guys. If you need anything, let me know. Chris B, I'm looking forward to seeing your boy tear up the football field tonight in Stockton. So I'm going to be out there, and I am going to be out there in full support. So I will see you guys soon. If you're going to be in Sacramento office, I'll be here all day. So you guys have a wonderful, wonderful day. And as always, keep it moving towards your dreams, goals, and vision, and go out there and crush your weekend. Peace. Judith, if you could stay on, please stay on.